So this is just a little video to celebrate me daily vlogging for 50 days. This video is a story, but not just any old story. This is the story of me and how I got here right now. So let's begin. My name is Conor Hannam. I was born on the 17th of October 1998 in the UK, just about 30 minutes away from London. I was the second born in the family. There's my sister Alicia, who is 3 years older than me. I have a mum and a dad who worked really hard in the UK and both ran successful businesses. My childhood was great in the UK. I always feel happy about going to school, and coming back home was even better. Although that was fun, it would also get me into a lot of trouble. My mum in England looked after children in our house, so I always had friends over. We'd go off and do stupid things all the time, and I remember one time I even climbed up this massive tree in front of our house, and I got about 5 meters up before falling and wounding myself. Life was pretty damn good in the UK. Most of my relatives were still alive, and we'd love to visit them. The best place to go was my nan and granddad's, and I would always hide around the corner of the house every time, pretending like I wasn't there with my family. But moving on from that, one of the best things about my life in the UK was my house. My dad built this house with his apprentices, and it was just the coolest. And this is where I watched some of my favourite TV shows and movies of all time, and this was the first time I ever watched them. I'm talking Back to the Future, SpongeBob, Toy Story, Harry Potter, Spider-Man, Jaws, and most importantly, Doctor Who. Yes, my favourite show, as you should all know by now. We travel a lot as a family, pretty much to the same place every time, and it's actually where I live right now, Australia. I love going to school and telling my friends about my last trip and all my trips coming up, and as a kid, I had about 4 trips out here to Australia, until my mum and dad made the huge decision that they were going to move out here. And that was big. In fact, this was huge. Since I was a kid, I didn't really mind that much. I mean, if you would have taken me away from there now, I'm sure as hell would have voiced my opinion, but I liked Australia, and I liked all that it had to offer. It took a good 6 months for us to get everything ready to go. We sold our car, we sold our house, and we said goodbye to pretty much everyone that we know and love. This wasn't easy, and even for a kid, I struggled with it. It's only nowadays that my mum would tell me about how sad she felt about leaving, and it's not like she didn't want to go, it was more that she was just leaving everything behind, and so was my dad. Now, if you don't think that's brave, then I don't know what is. So we did it. We left, and we headed for Australia. For 2 months we stayed with my dad's cousin, and we had stayed there time and time again from our previous trips. This was really good of him. I remember arriving, and the whole Australian side of our family was there, and they just went to surprise us. It was crazy. From there on out, I was out of school, so I couldn't really get in anywhere, so I had all that time off. Now, if you ever wondered why I'm such a bad speller or how it was a miracle that I passed school, now you know, because I didn't really have a school to go to for about 3 months. I left halfway through year 3 in the UK, and then I finally got put back into year 3 again, but this time in Australia, but it was the best place for me. But let's touch on my school for a second. This is the one place where so many different things happened. This school was amazing to me, and when I first came here, it was just incredible. I loved going to school once again and heading home to my new Australian house, which was quite small, but it was just amazing. So I finished year 3 and went into year 4, and I made some great friends, which I'm still pretty close with today. One thing I hated though was all the camps that we had to go on. The first one in primary school was in year 4, and I didn't like being away from my family. I mean, if you think about it, they were all I really had. I had to go on 3 camps in primary school, and look man, that was really hard. One time we had to take a 6-hour journey to get somewhere, and I was so homesick the whole time. I spent most nights just crying myself to sleep in bed. Got to the end of primary school, and look, I was ready to go. I didn't really feel too sad about leaving. You see, my school had a primary, middle, and senior school, so life wouldn't change that much. Well, that's at least what I thought. Middle school was insane for me on the first day. I fell out with some of my friends from primary school, and I kind of had to start again, and I got put into this little class called 7.1. This class turned out to be amazing. It's where I met some of my best friends. I had great teachers and friends, and suddenly it just didn't seem so bad anymore. This is also the time where I got my first girlfriend, yes, in year 7, and it lasted about 3 months, which in fairness is quite a long time for, year 7. I mean, I call things off though, and come to think about it, I can't really remember why. One of the best things to ever come out of my life was just this little thing that me and my good friend Johnny would do. It's not just me, to be fair, there are others who did it as well. We record ourselves doing really stupid things and edit them into films. It's pretty much some of the first films that I ever did. We'd then show our parents at family parties, and they didn't seem so mad watching them, but while we were filming them, well, that's another story. We'd get in so much trouble all the time. One day we even took it a little bit too far, and I jumped off my dad's car with rope around my legs, and Johnny pulled me midair. I landed so hard on my back that I actually dislocated my shoulder, and I put it back in myself. But enough of that. Anyway, year 7 ended, and then it was year 8, and this is the year I met my good and best friend Aiden. I met him because I was wearing a shirt that I called my Dinosaurs on a Spaceship t-shirt, as it looked like one from a Doctor Who episode. This got Aiden's attention straight away, and we spoke a lot about Doctor Who that whole year. Year 8 was my best year at school in my opinion. I'd say that I got away with a whole lot this year. Me and my friend Mitch would mess around a lot in class, and the workload got kept to a minimum. We would also do stuff that we weren't meant to do, like throw stuff up at the fans and kick balls in the class when no one else was in there. One day we even got caught and went to serve a detention orientation on the last day of term, but the people there were great and the teacher was just amazing. We were all one happy little class, but Christmas was the best time. You see, the class was full of decorations and the light and the tree, which is awesome, but that had to end. And most of that class stayed on to 9.1, but since I wasn't smart enough, I got put back to 9.2. I went into year 9 in the same mindset of year 7. I mean, I had mates, but they were all in 9.1, and I remember heading into 9.2 and sitting down on my own and nobody being there, but it wasn't until I had my first lesson down the science block that my life pretty much changed forever. See, I got put in a group with Declan, my old friend from primary school who I haven't spoke to in years. I was terrified, I didn't even look at him, but Declan, being the amazing person that he is, just broke the ice and asked me the question, do you still watch Doctor Who? And boom, that's when we became friends. Yes, Declan, the guy's in my vlogs like pretty much every week. This is how I got into his group, and this is how I'm in the group that I am in right now. Our group was doing great, and so was year 9. I felt normal, relaxed in my group. I used to think that I wasn't normal, but all my friends did what I did, and it was just great to know that. Then one day, Aiden brings someone into our group who had just left his due to complications, and this man is none other than my best friend to this day, Daniel Wade. So, year 9 ended, and I was a senior, and I felt like an adult. Thing is, I wasn't really, but I didn't really know that then. The first thing we did was head to our shoots, and me being the awkward guy that I am, spoke to the first girl that I saw. And funnily enough, it actually worked. She was in year 11 and we became really good friends. She would later go on to even invite me to the year 12 ball with her. And in year 10, our group was just great. It's literally the highlight of our friendship. We went out every weekend, none of us had work to worry about or any other worries, and it was just amazing. And we had a few players call us nutters though, as Dan can and still is quite a smart ass, and that got us into a lot of bad situations. I also got a girlfriend in year 10 for 3 days. Yeah, that really didn't last long. One of the worst parts of my year though was my sick phobia. See, I used to get scared about being sick, and I would get stuck in my head that I was sick all the time. That's not a good feeling at all, and I used to go home sick all the time, but when I got home I felt fine. This is when I got sent to go see the school psych for the first time. This is one of the best things I ever did. It stopped my sick phobia, and for that I was so grateful. And then the time came when I didn't need to go anymore, so I stopped. For now. So we're heading off into the end of year 10 and I was looking for a girlfriend, or even just a girl to have around, and I remember me and my friends got invited to this year 11 girls party, and that was a pretty damn big deal. See, Declan and Daniel had girlfriends at the time, but me and Aiden didn't. About a week before the party I got a message from this girl, and that was crazy. I told Aiden, he didn't seem to be happy about it. Nothing too big came out of this, and let's just say I never did return her calls after. Year 10 was coming to a close, and that's when I got some of the worst news. My good friend Mitchell, who's in my vlogs all the time, was moving to the city and would no longer attend our school next year or the year after. And sure enough, 2015 came along and Mitch left. This was when things started to go a little bad. So there I was, year 11, my 9th year at this school, when I wanted a fresh start. I wanted to improve my grades because they weren't good at the time. I started off the year by going to the ball with this girl as a friend, you know, the one who was in my chute, and that was really good. Classes weren't too bad though. I had maths with a lot of good baits, and this teacher there was a great laugh. He's American and very, very funny. We got to know each other really quick, and we still do talk today. That was a really, really fun part of year 11, and something I still miss to today. Not a lot of maths got done that year at all, and I think that's why we loved it, but year 11 wasn't easy for me. I started to see the dark side of the world, and I wasn't really in the best place, but I had this relationship at the time, and that's what kind of kept me somewhat happy. She wasn't my girlfriend, but she was pretty much was. Things weren't that bad in my life, it's just that some things changed and some things stopped. The boys started to work, and so did I, and we couldn't go out that much, and one of the worst things ever was me and Declan. We pretty much were off each other for the whole year, and no one's really to blame. We used to disagree a lot, and I get so pissed off that I go to the school psych and tell her about how much I wanted to give him a piece of my mind, but I never did. I was just really, really upset. I was getting hit by a lot of life's issues as well, and that really didn't help my time in year 11. This is where I also met my lovely friend Haley, who has always been there to help me and listen to me. She helped me a lot through that year, and with my relationship, and for a lot of good reasons, me and this girl called things off. I felt really alone and a bit helpless. All I did though was dream of year 12 as if it was some kind of sanctuary, you know, like get to year 12 I would tell myself. And that was a big mistake. You should never pinpoint a time in your life and think, this is when I'm going to be happy. This is also the time I booked the ski trip for 2016, and yes, I've spoken about that in a previous video. I still can't believe I did this, because at the time I was really bad, and I just thought to myself that, you know, in year 12 I'd be better, but really I wasn't. Year 11 wasn't all doom and gloom though. I had some amazing times in maths and other situations. The stuff we got away with there was crazy. Like every Monday in our period break, we'd go to the same classroom and knock on the outside window, and then we'd just run away. We did this for about 2 terms, never got caught. And if my year ever wondered why half period breaks got cancelled, there's your reason. But life wasn't great. I felt disconnected, from my friends mostly. But now it was Christmas time, and if you know me, I love Christmas. It's like my favourite time of the year. This time it'd be different though. My cousin and auntie were coming over from England, and this was amazing. And we did share some amazing times, and for the first time in a while, I was actually happy again. My Star Wars The Force Awakens midnight screening came along, and that was just an amazing night. I was also talking to this girl who my sister knew at work, and we even went on a few dates. And Christmas came along, and that was really good. But I had to say goodbye to the only two boys I consider my best friends at the moment. That was Daniel and Aiden. They were going to the UK for a month. I won't say anything about that trip because that's their story to tell. So I had Sam, my cousin, over to the 3rd of January, and then New Year's came along, and I got super drunk, and it felt great. But I had to say goodbye to Sam, and then my auntie left, and then we left to Bali. I don't really like Bali. I mean, it's lovely, but it's just not up my alley. I also did a lot of thinking about that girl on the trip, and I couldn't keep her hanging anymore. See, she liked me, but I just wasn't feeling it. What's bad of me is that we came back a week earlier than my parents, and she came over and I didn't really say anything, and that was terrible of me. But I was lost at the time and pretty alone. I had no Aiden, no Daniel, no Sam, no auntie, no mum and dad. I just sat in the cinema room all day and night and just watched movie after movie after movie. I really wasn't myself, and later on that week my family came back and I finally ended things with this girl. I felt terrible and I just blamed myself. Soon enough though, Aiden and Dan came back full of stories, and once and for all, me and Declan made up. The best thing we ever did. And to this day, he is one of my best friends in the entire world. But here we are, year 12, this year, and what a year it was. We started our year off with the ball once again like I did with year 11, but except this time it was my year's. I had no girlfriend at the time, so I took my friend Phoebe, who's a lovely girl. The night was good, but the afterball was even better. We got so drunk that we left a passed out Aiden on my front lawn for about an hour, but term 1 hit me hard, and even though I got Declan back, things were pretty damn bad. I felt more disconnected than ever to my friends. We spent a long time away from each other, and it's like we didn't know each other anymore. Not to mention my demands in grades and my growing anxiety. Some days, I even found it hard to walk to my locker. I lost all passion for creating and pretty much everything else. I felt so out of my time, like I lost the person who I was a long time ago. I wasn't myself at all, and I hit a real low point, and it really sucked. I spent most of my days in the school psych's office talking about my problems. Term 1 finished, and it was the holidays, and it was good because I needed a break, but that didn't really help. You see, I didn't really try to save my dying friendships. I just sleep, get up, watch something, stay out till 2, and then just do it all over again. Came back to school in term 2 in the worst day of my life. Everything from term 1 had escalated, and I didn't tell anybody how I was feeling because I was just so worried that they wouldn't understand. And this was a big mistake. Because of that, this was the saddest time I'd ever been in my life. I'd hit an all-time low. I felt like a loser, and I acted like it. This is when I met a girl in my drama class who would just listen, and that was new for me. This girl would later turn out to be my current girlfriend. See, she wants to be a psychiatrist. I mean, how do you think we met? Things at home weren't great either. My sister and I drifted a lot over the years, and all me and my mum and dad would do was fight. We fight about school or driving or how I had no passion or how I was sad all the time. The weekends were the worst. I'd do nothing all day and they could just see how broken and sad I was. I get into massive fights with them and I just go downstairs fuming. I needed to get my anger out, so I used to go out my wardrobe and just hit it time and time again. I remember one time I hit it so hard that I reopened an old wound from when I'd done it before. And if you look at my hands today, you can still see the scars. And this is also the time where I made a pretty big mistake. See, I didn't do my research and there was this girl that I liked and I wanted to take her out and I thought I'd give it a go. I thought it would help me as a person, I thought it would get me right back on track, and it took me about 2 weeks to build the confidence to ask her. The thing is, when I did, she told me that she was seeing someone else at the moment, and it was in no way her fault, but I blamed myself and I just sunk even deeper. I just felt so alone, it was just the final straw. All this was going on, I had the ski trip hanging over me, this massive trip that I was just no condition of going on. It was coming up and I was so done. Nothing was going right. I relied on music and movies at the time to try and help me, but even at times they failed. I headed on the ski trip in the mindset that I would get back and be all well and good again, and please remember, never do that because it never works. The ski trip was fun, and when I got back, I was so glad to be home, but, you know, it didn't last long. Next thing you know, I was in the same spot I was, and I had no idea why. Our last term ever at school came along, and I just went along with it. But amazingly enough, things did get better. The group started to go out more, and I felt more connected. I started to pass classes, and I was getting ready to graduate. I tried to enjoy my last few days at school, even though I knew fully well that I needed to get out, and it was the thing holding me back. And finally I did. I left. And I was going to graduate. All that pain and hard work seemed to have paid off, and this is when I came in, on the 1st of October for my first ever vlog. Now I've been doing this for 50 days. It was my 18th birthday party that I finally decided to start seeing my current girlfriend, and that was a great choice. I also went back to graduate, and that's a very proud moment of mine. Since we all worked hard on me getting there, and just to see my parents happy was just amazing in itself. And now pretty much all things are good in my life. My friend group is strong, I have a girlfriend, a YouTube channel that I'm over the moon with, my family don't fight that much anymore, I have the UK and America to look forward to, and I'm happy. something that I thought for a long time I'd never feel again. It's only recently that my mom and dad told me about how sad they felt to see me take that dark turn, and believe me, that's a path I never want to go down again. But I feel like I won't. I'm finally doing what I love, and that's incredible. This is what I want to do in my life, and I couldn't be any happy with it. And right now, I'm just the happiest I've ever been in my life. Thank you so much for watching my Draw My Life. I hope you are excited to join this journey with me. I'm so proud of what we've become. It's so amazing that I've done this for 50 days, and I hope you enjoy the stuff to come. My name is Conor Hannam, and I want to be a filmmaker. I love storytelling, and I want to show the world.